FM News, accurate, transparent, undiluted. We go deep. We bring you the news behind the news. Hana FM News. If it's new, then it's news.
Good afternoon, welcome to the World News at Noon on 103.5 FM. In the news this afternoon, Atiku Abubakar Peter Obi disagree on coalition plans. On the African news, Kenya's President Ruto calls for a diplomatic solution in Democratic Republic of Congo. On the foreign scene, U.S. Justice Department officials fired over involvement in Trump cases. And on the business scene, Nigeria's central bank sets January 31 as deadline for FX compliance reports. Welcome once again to the news at noon. I am Timi Tokbedada. Now the news in detail. Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, and Labour Party chieftain Peter Obi have disagreed on proposals for a coalition to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the next general election. Atiku emphasized the importance of synergy among opposition parties to gain power. However, Obi refused to endorse any coalition motivated by a desire for power alone. The two opposition politicians expressed their views at the Democracy Conference in Abuja yesterday, where they spoke on the challenges of civil rule. Also in the news this afternoon, an Iyagoku Chief Magistrate Court in Ibadan has adjourned the case involving Olori, Prophetess Naomi Oriyomi Hamzat, and the principal of Islamic High School, Basharu, Ibadan, till March 24, 2025. The trio appeared in court yesterday, 2 weeks after being granted bail by an Oyo State High Court. They are facing charges related to the stampede that occurred at a children's fun fair in December, resulting in the deaths of 35 children. Also in the news this afternoon, Vice President Kashim Shettima has assured Nigerians that the current administration will continue to uphold democratic values. He pledged that the government will address major economic weaknesses, secure communities, fight corruption, and strengthen the judiciary's independence. Shettima made these remarks at the National Conference on Strengthening Democracy in Nigeria, held yesterday in Abuja. The Vice President assured Nigerians of the Tinubu's administration's commitment to upholding democratic values and promote unity and tolerance in Nigeria. Moving on to the African news, Kenya's President William Ruto has described the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo as very complicated and emphasized that a diplomatic solution is the only way forward. Ruto's remarks come amid escalating fighting in the region, despite calls from the UN Security Council for Rwanda-backed M23 rebels to withdraw. The region is rich in minerals critical to the world's technology, making the conflict a pressing global concern. President Ruto has also been engaging with international leaders to address the crisis. Moving on to the foreign news, the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has terminated the employment of over a dozen Justice Department lawyers. These lawyers were part of former special counsel Jack Smith's team that investigated Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents and attempts to overturn his 2020 election defeat. The firings, which take immediate effect, has raised concerns about the independence of the Justice Department in the United States. on to the news coming from Israel. Israel has announced that 8 of the 26 hostages due to be released by the Hamas in the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal are dead. Government spokesman David Mensa revealed that Israel received a list from Hamas overnight confirming the status of the hostages. According to Mensa, the list matched Israel's intelligence, and unfortunately, 8 of the hostages had been killed by Hamas. The news comes as a significant blow to the families of the hostages who had been holding on to hope for their safe release. The Gaza ceasefire deal aims to bring an end to the conflict between Israel and Hamas. However, the revelation of the 8 hostages' death raises concerns about the challenges ahead. And on the business report for this afternoon, the Central Bank of Nigeria has issued a directive to participants in the foreign exchange market to submit compliance reports by January 31, 2025. The report will demonstrate adherence to the Nigerian FX Code, which strengthens ethical practices, governance, and transparency in the market. This move is expected to promote a more transparent and accountable foreign exchange market in Nigeria. And in sport news for this afternoon, Brazilian football star Neymar has parted ways with Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal just 18 months after joining. The club announced that they have mutually agreed to terminate Neymar's contract yesterday. Neymar's time at Al Hilal was marked by injuries, which limited him to just 7 appearances since joining the club in August 2023. And with that, we have come to the end of the World News at noon on Honor 103.5 FM. Before we go, here is a recap of the major stories. On the national news this afternoon, we informed you that Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi have disagreed on coalition plans.